Well, start of a new turn here in whatever battle I'm doing. Nihriya. And I wanted to catch this. I'm not even through the activation yet. So as I get an Assyrian initiative, this line was stretched out a little further. I pushed it through. Now they had to ride by this fella here and take javelin fire for every single unit just to reduce their chariot turning results. They only took one hit from it, so it was pretty good. Actually, they only took one hit from chariot turning. They didn't take anything from the javelin fire. And you can see they knocked out his, he ran out of javelins. But now the reason I took this as my initiative was everybody's engaged here, or half the Hittites are. And by outflanking and swinging around, I think I can pretty much destroy a route. Well, destroy, because I'm surrounding them. The entirety of that part of the wing. That seemed so powerful that the other options, moving the infantry forward to chase the chariots, not much there. An attack here, I didn't have the same kind of opportunities. Moving the Royal Guard forward to maybe cover this flank, valuable, but this one seemed just so important. And those effects were pretty devastating. You can see they wiped out that entire line that they had outflanked. There's no fight here. This guy was only being hit from the flank. He can't get away, but he also can't swing back. And this is what we took in losses, some 15 points worth of Hittites down. Bang. The Hittite response is a lot less dramatic. They did whole chariot wing doing a drive-by shooting basically on this one unit here. They killed it, and it was a permanent death, which is good for them. And then they also lined up to fire and kind of make it difficult for this guy to do anything. This covers this flank. I was kind of worried they'd be able to swing around and hit there, but now I've got another division coming in. There should be sufficient force to stop this. Things are looking pretty good for the Assyrians at this moment, because they've wiped out one line and they've got the other flank kind of blocked off. Here's the thing, though: there's still a lot of chariots here, and if I can swing them across and bring them forward, it can do quite a bit of damage. Let's see. And the last couple actions have been over on the left flank as well. First the Hittites, and you can see their replacement leader showed up, but he got wounded as well. That makes him really kind of ineffective. But mainly, most of the units were engaged and couldn't do anything. One with a runner attacked. He pushed forward here. And then some of the rear units, well, this guy came back and did a shot, and this guy slammed in and destroyed a unit, or routed him actually. But then when the first division got to fire off, all its engaged stuff fought, and they were in a slightly better position. They took out one unit and lost one of their own here, and the rest of the screen here pushed to the side. They're not really serving any useful purpose to those routed units. If they get hit by the infantry, chances are they're just going to make the problem worse. And although they don't route through, which was one of my thoughts, I'm so used to the rest of the great battles of history. But if they run from the infantry, they would destroy the routed units. And I wanted to run from the infantry, but I don't really... I couldn't if I routed those units. So the problem would just get worse if they got hit. I'm actually still kind of worried, because part of their line is exposed, and it's a flank now, but that's life. Well, I've been away from the battle for a little while in order to work, and then I pulled an Assyrian infantry chit. And this is kind of interesting, because the infantry, if you remember what was set up, could have moved in and pretty much hammered this first division of chariots. So I went for a trumping. And I forgot to move my dude. 1, 2, 3. Let's put him back here. This actually is here then. I moved forward with the I got the trump in and attacked with these, and actually managed to slice in here against this chariot, and you see they're engaged. Also drove some of these chariots back and hit the flank here. There was chariot here that got driven back. Of course, I took fire from that bowman there. I also struck right into this shock infantry. Looking at the advantage of hitting from the flank as well as getting that first strike against kind of poor morale stuff. And it actually failed its tactical quality check, but only by a point. So between that and the javelin, it had 2 hits on it. Well, when I went there, well, defender superior for shock infantry. That's not good. And it's the 3 table plus 2 for the range, but the chariot that hit him actually is this one over here that got knocked out, and it should be here because it'll be in the closest. Oh no, it'll be under him. I'll never remember it if it's under him though. All right, and I've probably forgotten to move things under him there. Anyway, I was able to avoid what would have been a disaster if that shock infantry marched forward, because it would have hit my yummies. And I managed to actually hit some of the Hittite ones. And you can see got some casualties here. Another 15, I'm sorry, those are Assyrians. Another 15 Assyrian points and 5 Hittites, which is going to affect this. 5 Hittites, 15 Assyrians. And it's still a fairly even battle, with the Hittites doing a little better. And when we look at the field, this flank is in trouble for the Hittites, but this flank, it looks like it's in trouble for the Assyrians. So it's kind of a nice parallel. The only real danger is all these things are here, but we haven't seen the Hittite infantry move up to screen them yet. And that's going to provide some defense there. Actually, both sides are kind of trying to screen their routed units with the infantry. Oh boy, more bad news for the Assyrians. First of all, they drew their momentum shit and did not get it. Then the Hittites drew theirs, got it, and they're going to trigger this same division. Slam in, get some more quick and easy points, maybe hit the infantry from behind. Really, really a nice combination for them with how the chits and the rolls have been coming. Well, the Assyrians decide to try trumping it on that. They fail. That means the Hittite momentum will go back in, and they still get to make this action. And that was as painful as it looked. Just plowed right through the middle here, drove away some of those units, hit the bowman, knocked him into more routed units. We got another 18 points going off there. Hittites kind of misused that second momentum. They continued trying to charge against these routed units and against the back of the light infantry there. And it didn't go too well for them. And now they're kind of ground in here with the Royal Guard in place. I don't know, this doesn't bode too well. They didn't get enough points off of it, essentially. I think they killed 1 unit. But then they got to sweep with these and crunch in to the side. So this is beginning to look more even than it was before. That initial crushing, enveloping tactic that the Assyrians used. Well, now numbers are catching up, and the Hittites are able to throw enough of theirs in. They knocked out a couple of the Assyrian ones, and now we've got kind of an even battle again. And the turn ends with the Royal Guard not doing much, just turning and attacking with the 1 unit, which they can do along with a rally action, I think, and lining these up, which weren't in command anyway, so it's no big deal. And then the Hittite infantry coming down, covering the routed units somewhat from the Assyrian infantry, and kind of protecting their bets here. Right now they've got to win it with the Chariots, but they're hoping that line can defend some of their valuable points. Over here, point-wise, we're looking at only 28 points remaining for the Assyrians, while there's 49 for the Hittites. So right now it's a pretty hefty victory for the Hittites so far. We'll see when those infantry hit. When the 2 infantry lines clash, you can see the numbers. The Hittite infantry is slightly worse than the Assyrian, and then they've got the bow background. The problem with it all is there's these chariots in the background of the bows. Alright, the Assyrians opened things up on this new turn here by throwing the infantry in. They won the initiative and they go in. They hit hard. You can see a lot of engaged markers in play, but they made a couple of breakthroughs. But for the most part, it wasn't quite as devastating. They got some unlucky rolls where things are just, stuck there as they are. They also, if you notice, threw their archers to get some shots in on that chariot that's coming in from behind them. They're very worried about that. Hittites got a couple of actions over here and here, which they used as recovery to recover tactical quality points, just so that they're ready for the next attack. Then the Assyrians got their royal guard. For this, well, there was an attack over here, which ended up destroying the royal guard infantry, hitting from the flank on a chariot, but the chariot's got a higher tactical quality, and it's just, was able to outlast. And likewise here, another attack. This one destroyed the Hittite chariot, actually gone from the game, but then the royal guard marched up here, and it's not doing too well either. These guys have been committed to a fight, and they're just not in great shape anymore. The king had to run around and get through here in order to command his chariots. He couldn't use them. They were too far away. They had outrun his command. He was in range before, but these chariots had cut him off, I believe. Well, maybe he wasn't in range. He was back here somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they had outrun him completely. Oh, no. He had been in range and got pushed back by those chariot attacks. That's what happened. All right. Well, more pit. Well, the Hittites' the next draw was the Hittites' infantry. And that didn't go well for them. Remember, everything was engaged. Now, you can see some breaks in the line where they had counterattacked and were routed, essentially, by the heavier, more powerful Assyrian infantry. We got 9 permanently gone. They could have attempted a withdrawal, a disengagement. That's a difficult thing, and they kind of wanted to fight it out. Maybe there's still a slight advantage to being the attacker in that you win the ties, and they actually took advantage of that here, and also with a unit that broke through here and then got shot up by that composite bowman when they advanced. Oh well. So the last few activations, let's see, we had chariots over here recovering. Wing 2 hardly exists. I think they kind of tried to gather around the center, try to rebuild somehow, I don't know. But they were involved, I think, in something where they were unable. Yeah, there was a rally here. Maybe that was them. I don't know. I don't think so. And then the Hittites Division 1, which also barely exists. The king moved up here so that he can start trying to rally some stuff. It's probably too late. He's got an interesting situation, though, where these guys can't get out of there. No matter what they do, they'd have to go next to an enemy unit, including this poor routed guy. They're not allowed to because they're out of command. So they're kind of stuck in this donut here without any ability to shoot because they got javelins. They're only range 1. And I've got to try to break them out if I'm going to do anything with them. That's kind of painful. This is going really neck and neck here. 30 to 24. At one point it was like 30 to 28, but the Hittites, or the Assyrians, then lost another unit. Anyway, pretty interesting battle so far. Fairly evenly matched in a way that I haven't seen any of them develop. Nice combination with the Hittites having a little bit heavier in the chariots, but the Assyrians could make it up with the infantry, and we saw that happen. I'm not sure which one's going to win, actually. Alright, I'll do some of the cleanup and load this up.